This is Jeff. This video is a tutorial on how to make and animate masks so you can transition from one composition to another. This is the second video in a series entitled Drip. And just so you know, this video has already completed the series of videos called Dots and has already completed the series of videos called Bubble. You don't necessarily need to have seen those other videos in its entirety, but just so you know where I got that content. So let me show you where this project is right now. I have all the bubbles sparkling at the beginning of the song, and then I have all the dots kind of kicking in when the music starts jamming. But everything is kind of playing at once, and I want to be able to transition from one look to another. So this is where we are right now. Okay, so you can see that there's the little twinkly bits at the beginning that are bubble comps, and what each one of these is a short little sequence that has a lot of little twinkles on them, and as opposed to making, you know, 1,000 little twinkles, I just repeated the same sequence over and over and over again, so that it would look like we have 1,000 little individual twinkles. But that's going to be a little hard to kind of make a mask. Like, it's going to be nice to go from like one thing to another. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these bubbles here, and I'm going to flatten all of these little compositions into one composition, so I can put an easy mask on everything. It's kind of like making a group after the fact. So I'll show you how that works. I can shift select all of them. And so now I have a whole group of compositions selected. And then I can right click or two-finger click, and I can go down to something called Pre-Compose. And what Pre-Compose does is it takes all of the things you've selected and turns it into a composition. And then that composition is now elsewhere. So I can say Pre-Compose, and what it does is I'm going to call this Bubble Intro. So now I have Bubble Intro here in my timeline. Those are all my bubbles. And then over here on the master composition, you see that my Bubble Intro is now one singular thing, which is going to be great because what I want to do is develop a mask for it. So I'm going to turn off dots just so we have a little slightly clearer visual. So here's all my little sparkly bits. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a mask to this layer. So first thing I do is go ahead and select this layer. And once you've selected that, go up to Layer, Mask, New Mask. Now what this is going to do is going to add a whole little mask section here. And I can select this, make sure, there we go. If it's not appearing, go ahead and click this. This is Toggle Mask and Shape Path Visibility. So you can see that a mask is now another element that's added to this layer, and it has a mask path, which is basically this. Mask feather, mask opacity, and mask expansion. So what this really does is it allows you to, everything that's in this box is going to be like you can hide. See how if I move this, everything in that mask is being shown and everything outside of that mask is not being shown. So you can also swap that. If I divide it like this, under this mask layer, I can select and do inverted, and then it will show what is not in the mask and hide what is in the mask. So masks allow you to show and hide different parts of the layers. So essentially what I want to do is I want this to wipe away this layer so we don't get, it doesn't get overwhelmed with the other graphics. So I'm going to go ahead and just start by animating this. Then I'm going to go ahead and add a mask path keyframe. So if I add a mask path keyframe and then another keyframe, what it's going to allow me to do is wipe away. Again, you have to select out so it's not the whole mask. And then while I'm on this, right, I can take these individual corners and move them down. And so you can see it's actually going to wipe away the sparkles. And that's going to allow me to add some new things. Now I'm going to also add a mask to dots, to these two dot layers. I'm going to select both of those and I'm going to do layer, mask, oops, can't do the two at once. Layer, mask, new mask, layer, mask, new mask. And each one of these I will also select the mask path. And I might need to move these keyframes in actuality, but since, let's go ahead and turn this on. So right now there's one layer of dots and I want it to start hidden and then be revealed. So in this case, I'm going to, I'll do this a little differently just so we have a variable. On this first keyframe, I'm just going to move the whole mask. Oh, that's the whole layer. I'm going to move this whole, there, I move the mask all the way up. So now when this moves in, the information stays the same and the mask is just swiping. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. I added a mask here. I'm going to keep the same kind of anchor points or the keyframe points. Mask path. Keyframe. And go back to the first one. And on this first one, I'm just going to take this first mask and move it out. So now, if I show dots 2, I should be getting something like this. Probably went back a little too far. So there's the bubbles. We'll have about 5 more seconds. And then the masks are revealing the dot layer and getting rid of the sparkle layer. Now there's a lot of overflow there, which I don't think looks so great. So I actually had generated this drip design. And I'm going to turn on this yellow background. So if you can see this drip design, I have to go back and adjust that. Just see, you know what, I'm going to just take this shape layer, a big yellow shape layer, and just drag it so it starts there. Let's see if this is going to give us what I want. it back so you can see the... I think I need to synchronize that better, but you can see how I can use that, those drips to hide the transition. And now I just need to actually detail that.